Okay, now please tell me this job is still here. Okay, cool. 22 hour offer expires in 22 hours. Take job.
Time to hit the road.
Now to really mess things up, we've got an articulated trailer. It will be articulating splines. Dude, I want to get... I'm waiting to get to play games for viewers, but it's also your channel, and you deserve to play games you like. Right. Well, the other problem with playing games for viewers is, like, I get... Well, actually, hold on, hold this thought.
Okay, here we go.
Let's, we're on an urgent delivery, so we're probably gonna miss Great Falls. Wait, hold on. 711 miles, or 12 hours and 27 minutes. What if I went this way instead? It's shorter distance, but it's more time? I think I'm gonna risk it. I think it's probably slower. Wait, hold on. Where am I looking? Ketchum? We're gonna go to Ash Ketchum, I guess. Okay. Alright. Welcome back to Improvision Entertainment. My name is Hunter Munn, and this is more of American Truck Simulator, which I'm taking a slight detour to Great Falls on my way of taking urgent delivery.
Drive safe.
We are using an articulated trailer, so we got to be extra careful, especially with as much trouble as my turning has been giving me today. Molly was just mentioning how I should definitely be playing more games on stream that I definitely want to play, and I want to do that, but at the same time, the games I want to know what people want to see, because it's my habit as a storyteller, I guess I'll say. Being a good storyteller is about not just trying to actively tell your own story, or only telling a story in the direction that the players want to go, but trying to find a middle ground where everybody gets to work together for a greater story that you get to basically please as many people as possible, yourself and the players, making story as you go. And for me, streaming is kind of the same thing. I could just play only the games I'd be interested in playing, but then if I was only doing that ever, there would be plenty of situations in which people would not be watching because I'd be playing games that they don't want to see me play. So I gotta, like, include... Whoops. I hope I did not turn that too sharp for the... I'm never sure quite where the field is, like, able to be driven through and not. Now, the game originally directed me to go left up here, but I'm going to go right so that I can drive through Great Falls and get that counted as a place in Montana I've been.
Turn right.
Molly says, well, you eventually meet people who do like the games you play, which is how Twitch works. You're not wrong. You're not. I'm sorry? But at the same time, I can't really... you know, Molly, I believe in life everybody's got basically like the equivalent of a character sheet. that they didn't get to put a lot of things on until eventually where they got to like progress their character and level up and stuff like that. But I have a innate flaw on my character sheet as a person that prevents me from getting noticed. And so it's easier for me to maintain people's interests if I can figure out what their interests are and where our interests align. He says, really, if you're doing now hasn't been working for a long time, maybe it's time to do something different? Yeah, but things haven't been working my whole life. Like, where do I use the cutoff for when things haven't been working? I am enjoying streaming. I am enjoying playing the games for people. In fact, the only part I don't enjoy is feeling like I'm either inept at the game or that I've gotten sweary, getting frustrated with a boss. Or like with these truck simulator games, for example, just not having a story to tell, or not having a story to tell, but only having the same old stories over and over again to tell. And please pull in for inspection at the nearest way station. Oh shit.
Rerouting. Finding a new route.
Am I going through this way station the correct direction? I'm not.
Get ready to turn right. Recomputing.
I mean for Twitch, not for life? Well, I
Find a
mean,
new route.
Twitch is life at this point. Dr. Wellness,
Rerouting.
my mom says... I almost hit that cop car. I beg to differ with you. I think not getting noticed is an attribute, not a flaw. It depends on if you're an introvert or an extrovert, I guess.
Turn right.
Alright, this is not the recommended route for this trailer setup, so we're going to see if we can maintain it. It is physically shorter, but it might be technically longer. I assume this has to do with the speed limit, and considering a cop just pulled out in front of me, the game is already trying to deter me from, like, going faster. Of course, it might be because it's too squirrely. For this articulated trailer, it might have been the way that it was telling me to go. Oh, man. Well, it says I agree, but also if you want to attain a goal, you try a bunch of methods until something sticks. Yeah, but I never know exactly what the right, like, amount of time to have tried something. I mean, I've been doing Twitch for a little over 2 years, right? Is it failing? Do I get to rack it up as a failure? I have almost 220 followers. I'm averaging between 0 and 7 active viewers most days of the week. So I guess I'm averaging 4. I put in as much time most weeks as like a minimum wage job. And I get paid a lot less than a minimum wage job. Mom says invisibility is superpower.
Go straight on.
Like, it is if you actually have the power of invisibility, but you're confusing invisibility with unnoticeable. Unnoticeable is not invisibility. I'm not invisible. I'm just not seen by people. That's not the same thing. Those are two different things on a character sheet. Like, and during the course of the last 2 years, I've had...
Go straight on.
I've had 1 or 2 entire well, like, no, 2 or 3. 2 or 3 entire months of just like extreme burnout from me not taking break properly. Like around my birthday, I'm gonna take a break. Basically, the end of August here, I'm gonna force myself to take a break, and then I can have extreme episode 1 curse for Disgaea, so that'll be great. We'll do that. I forget if that game even plays in widescreen, PC version. Yeah, I think it was not recommended that I take this trip, take this route because of the S-curves. I says, well, I don't think you're failing. Don't get me wrong here, but sometimes you seem defeated and stuck in monotony. I'm only encouraging change if you need it. Well, I mean, that's one of those things I lean on other people for, Molly.
Go straight on.
Letting me know if I actually need to change something. Because I'm a bad judge of that myself. Is anybody coming? I do have kind of an urgent delivery. Go wide, Hunterman, go wide. You did the thing you definitely should not do in real life. Way to go. One second, Dr. Willis, I got curves. Should be the same thing. Have you actively worked at trying to get more viewers? Is that a goal? Recruitment? If I remember, I post in some Facebook groups, mostly furry stuff. Well, that's the thing. I don't know what I need to do precisely to get noticed. Also, I can't seem to get my RPMs up. What is this that's up ahead here?
Go straight on.
Oh man, I definitely would have gone straight on, but there's a wall there.
Go straight
Life
on.
says, "Oh, I am not the person for that. I am passive in that regard. I prefer to encourage people when people are open about a goal." Well, I guess my problem is that my goal feels selfish. What I'd like is to... Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no.
What's wrong? What's your goal?
I think my goal, Daniel in the chat, or Daniel in the voice, is I would like to entertain people with my knowledge of video games and my critique and my playthroughs and sometimes my skill level, while also making enough money that I can move out from where my transphobe stepdad lives and be back on my own, and also have enough money each month to maybe put a little aside and maybe purchase myself like one game or a movie or something like that. I can get by with very little. I'm not a high maintenance person. How you doing, Daniel?
Doing all right?
Surprise guest appearance.
Yeah, I
Go
just got
straight
home
on.
from taking care of business, trying to do the stuff I was planning on doing before we're supposed to stream. But
Oh, that reminds me. Let me check the
it
email.
just unfolded on itself.
Let's do
And-
technical support. Technical support
Yeah.
says, "Thank you for reaching back with this. My name is Arlen. Arlen. I hope you're having a good day. Thank you as well for the information you provide. I've successfully sent the backup codes to the email you provided. You may first try cleaning cache history. Use a different private browser before entering the code to avoid error." What the fuck are you talking about? Please let us know if there's any issues using backup codes to log in. Alright, Arlen, I'll try that after this recording.
So, they still think it's a two-factor authentication problem?
I don't fucking know.
Did you ever mention two-factor authentication?
I mentioned that I used it.
Okay.
All right, you know what? We're gonna do that at the end of this run. Like, I'm not doing that now. Sorry, you were saying, Daniel. It was like I forgot I was gonna check the emails between recordings.
You're good.
But I told the entire story of the technical support situation as it stands in the last recording, so it only made sense for me to take a brief aside here during this recording to update people with whatever the fuck Arlen was just talking about. Backup codes, clear cache, web browser? What are you even saying? Like, I'm not worried. I can log into the goddamn account on the goddamn website, lady, alright? For fuck's sake.
So you told them you're not logging on a console,
Go
right?
straight on.
Yes! I've been... Oh god, I'm... red light, red light. Like, I have been very clear. I am trying to log in on Call of Duty Modern Warfare Reboot 2019 version on PlayStation 4 version, disc PlayStation 4 version, on the disc PlayStation 5 that I just installed last night, that to the best of my recollection I've never used before, but then again, depending on how they count Warzone, I may have technically played Warzone briefly on the PlayStation 4, I no longer remember, but I've definitely never played it, or any Call of Duty whatsoever, or any other Activision video game on my PlayStation 5, so that's not the situation.
Warzone probably counts, because I'm assuming it's the same account for Warzone that you
Yeah,
said Cold War.
I wanted to say I'd never played it on PlayStation 4, Daniel, but like...
You're not 100% sure.
But I think when we first played it, we were playing the beta or something that was only on PlayStation 4, and so that might be what it's thinking of. I seem to recall playing with you and one of your other friends, right at the beginning, and I don't remember if I was playing on Xbox at the beginning.
That wasn't me. I didn't play Warzone until long after it had already been on and everything. So, there's a chance you played it on PlayStation, but I don't know why you would have, because it probably would have been between, like, August and, like, November of 2020.
Man, I don't even know, but the point being, I have given them the detailed paragraph version of what I'm trying to do, and when I get the error message, fuck, I even sent the guy the screenshot from the chat because he was like, do you have a picture of what's happening, maybe? Would you? And I was like, I didn't tell him I grabbed the picture from, you know, my capture device on my Mac using a screenshot. No, I just was like, here, this is the error message I'm getting. Here's the picture, the one I put in the Discord late last night. And at the very least, I will spend time. Hopefully, I'll remember between these recordings to write a email back to Erlyn, whatever her name was. Their name was whatever their name was. Oh, green light. How are you doing today? Besides not playing Modern Warfare with me because issues.
My day could be going a bit better. I had to swap out my tire and put air in the spare, so it took up a bunch of my time. That's why I wasn't even home when we were supposed to play originally. I was planning on being home after a couple errands, but that took up a bunch of my time.
Go straight on.
Oh man. Yeah, so I wouldn't say I have lofty goals, but I will say that I often have 6 subscribers, and right now I have 4. And I don't know if that's because I'm playing more Truck Simulator or just because, like maybe Cody and Jennifer have been sick and they haven't been able to afford Prime, or if they have Prime, they just haven't tuned in, so they haven't tossed me their subscription. Like, it always feels like I'm asking friends for their Prime and stuff like that, which feels a little, like... I don't want to say it feels icky, but it feels like a little beggy. Feels a little beggy. I mean, my stepdad has a Prime subscription he's not using for anything, and he just won't. He gets. Fuck, I don't even know what he gets. I wanted to say a bunch of different adjectives. Frustrated was the one I almost said. About, like, how many steps it takes to do it, like, click the button. Because you can't just apparently... I don't think the last time I checked you can just do it from the mobile device. Or do it from, in his case, from an iPad. I think you have to actually go through some other step. But...
Why don't you just do it for him?
Because he doesn't trust anyone. So I also can't watch Amazon Prime unless it's out in the living room. Because he won't just let me use his login information. He's like, you might purchase something. I'm like, well, first of all, I would definitely not do that. So, fuck you a little bit on that one. Secondly, if I did, I'm not going to get away. I'm currently living in the same house. Okay, so hypothetically, you could get the money from me one way or the other. Even though, back to step 1, definitely not going to just purchase something on your account. And step 3, just go in and make your account two-step authentication so that, like, what you should be doing anyway for safety's sake, and just have it so that if I did hypothetically try to purchase something, which again, part 1 wouldn't do, it would ask you for an authenticator code from your home phone device, which I wouldn't have access to and wouldn't be able to, like... Our breakdowns don't begin and end at transphobia. For many decades now, it has been that he doesn't trust me. And I think what I get from... I don't know if Mom is still listening in the chat, but I get the impression he doesn't trust anybody, but it still feels pretty personal. Here. I got a story of, like, the first big time that I remember trust being the major issue, that I knew trust was the issue. We had some video rental places around here. You still there, Daniel?
Yep.
Okay. We had some video rental places around here. One was a... No, Blockbuster wasn't easily. Blockbuster was a little bit of a trip.
Video?
No, Hollywood Video is north.
Okay, then I got nothing. That's the only two I ever had around my area growing up.
Okay, well, there was a local store whose name I don't remember because I've only been in there, I only had been in there twice. But there's also a Video Update. You may have heard of Movies.
Nope.
Okay. And then there was Ingles Video, which was just in the Ingles store thing.
Okay.
So we rented, and when I say we, I mean me and the friends over the course of a weekend. I don't remember what game it was, but we rented it from the Ingles Video, which is like the grocery store around here. They just had a little video kiosk area, like, and we rented it from there. And you know, come Sunday morning or whatever, before the store opens, we drop off the game into the slot and go about our merry way. I get dropped off back home because I don't drive at that point. Captain Soja drops me off at home, and don't think anything of it. A few weeks later, Jeff, the stepdad, gets a message on the answering machine, apparently, that I did not return the game. And that if I don't return the game, I'm going to have to pay for the game. And I told him, no, I definitely returned the game, and I'm not paying that fee because that's not mine. They got to find it. They must have lost it in their inventory. I'll call them up. Called them up. I was like, you guys have made a mistake. You need to find the game. I'm not paying for it because I definitely turned it in. I have a witness. I actually said I have a witness. Somebody saw me do what I always do, which is I opened up the game case, I looked at the game, made sure the game was in the case, I closed the case back up, and I dropped it in the slot. I fucking always did that because, man, you would hate to, like, not have done that. So like I said, I had a witness. I had somebody who saw it. So, what I find out is twofold. On the one hand, about 3 weeks later, I find out Jeff is very upset that he quote-unquote had to pay the late fee for the Ingalls video thing. And I'm like, how'd you even do that? It was on my account. Like, I don't share an account with you. It's my own card, and I definitely wasn't going to pay it. He's like, well, you weren't going to pay it, so I had to pay it. Like, no, that's not how it works. When companies wrongfully charge you for stuff you didn't do, you fight it. You don't actually pay it or whatever. And so that was him not trusting that I'd done the thing. But there's a topper to the story, Daniel. There's a topper. About a week later from that 3 weeks later, I got a phone call from a friend of mine at the time, Draco. Draco, who was one of the people who often played games with us on the weekends, right? He worked at Ingalls, okay? And, apparently, some employee at the Ingalls had been swiping games and stuff from when they get put back in the slot, playing them, and then dropping them off at the video update. So video update would be like, oh, somebody dropped off a game at the wrong place. Here, let us send this back to Ingalls. And so Ingalls now has the game I definitely turned in and that an employee apparently stole and played for 3 weeks and then dropped back in to get picked up.
Got it.
So I know what happened to the game, and I definitely returned the game. And the only reason I know that is because I had a friend who worked at Ingalls who called me up and told me what had happened. But it's still about Jeff not trusting that I'd actually done the thing. And it's very continually upsetting.
Okay, well, it's a good thing I got the gist of that, because I just got 5 spam calls back to back, and they unfortunately sent them on my phone. They kept interrupting what you were saying, but I got most of it. That's fucked up.
Yeah. But again, like, it's basically always been that way. It's always been like back in high school, around this same time period. My biggest trouble with interacting with Jeff is that he wasn't consistent.
Okay.
Hopefully you have had a parental experience that if you fucked up and you knew you fucked up, you knew you were going to get in trouble for something. Or
yeah,
if you...
Well, knowing me, I probably was going to get my ass beat. Sure, go on.
Molly says my stepdad is the same way. Like, or if you did well in something, you might get praised for doing well in something?
No.
Okay, but if you but bare minimum, if you fucked up, you knew you'd get in trouble for it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, with Jeff, he was inconsistent. So sometimes I would have a really good report card, except I had a B on it instead of an A in something, and he would get really pissed off about it. Whereas sometime later, I might have an okay report card with some A's, B's, and C's on it, and like a D, and the D would be the only thing he cared about. Or sometimes I'd have brought home really good grades on a test, and just because he felt like it, or just because I previously like been to a friend's house the previous weekend, I couldn't go out again because he just felt like I didn't need to go out again. But then sometimes he'd be in a really bad mood and he'd not want me in the house, so he'd just let me go, even though I was certain he was going to say no, that I couldn't go to a friend's house. Like, I don't know if that makes any sense. Is it, like, the inability for me on the spectrum to be able to know with any certainty whether he was going to act within a certain window of my understanding of how we interact. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah. Jesus Christ, yeah.
Uh-oh. Am I going too fast? Okay, I think I almost started to tip both of these trailers. How much time I got left on destination? 5 hours to next rest. Okay, so I do need to rest. Oh, that's a good rest area. I'm sorry. I assume that's Butte and not Butt.
Is it Butte?
Yes.
It's probably Butte.
Ready to roll.
It's probably Butte. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do you have a job right now, Daniel, or you're still looking?
I'm still looking. What do you ask?
Because I want to know if my friend is doing better than I am.
I mean, in some aspects.
I mean, most of my friends are doing better than I am. Oh, do you have access to the chat, Daniel?
I don't. I can pull it up on my computer if you want, but I'd have to go to my office. I was just checking in because I just got home and I pulled up this call on my phone.
Okay. You don't have to. You can probably see it in the 101 channel on the Discord if you're at your phone.
Oh, you're right. I can do that. I keep forgetting that's.
I can
That's
bypass
fine.
the nearby waste station. I'm just asking because Molly put like a paragraph and I have a lot of curves.
Here, I'll read it. Molly said, after saying my stepdad was the same way, we first met.
Hold on. You're breaking up. Are you holding the phone away? You're probably holding the phone away from you reading it.
Yeah, but I have.
Yeah, but you what?
Yeah, but I have AirPods in.
Oh, well,
Keep
something's
right,
malfunctioning.
And then exit right.
So, yeah, when we first met, I was going through a medical dilemma, and it was hurting me emotionally. So for a few months, my house was not very clean, like disgusting. But I just live out of the dryer for a week or not. She was in the cabinet. I just put them on the counter.
At the roundabout.
To him,
take the
he just
second
considered me unclean, and 8 years later, even though I'm going through that, even though I'm through that crisis, I'm a clean / neat freak. He refuses to accept that I'm not that person, even though he has 7.5 years to prove otherwise. Yeah, some people just don't like to see other people change, especially even if it's for the better.
Or if they have already logged you as being a certain way, they won't. Like, I chalk a lot of Jeff's perceived animosity towards me and his perceived animosity of me towards him. I mean, don't get me wrong, I have animosity towards him, but he keeps renewing that with new things. Like, so the transphobia is relatively recent, all things considered. But it all started with me, like, not wanting to be rid of my biological father, who I didn't know was such an asshole at the time, and me not, like, accepting him as, like, I mean, even for years later, I would consider him to be basically my mom's boyfriend. That's how I thought of him. I thought of him as my mom's boyfriend. And, but, you know, I was single digits. I was a kid. What the fuck did I know? I didn't even know that my biological father was a total asshole. So, I think a lot of our relationship got messed up because he was not treating me like a kid and understanding that maybe I just didn't know. Like, maybe I didn't know that my original dad was a dick and that I shouldn't have been with him or wanting to be with him or hanging out with him or whatever. That all the ways that he was treating me was, like, not okay. And when I finally was old enough to realize, like, later in teenage years, when I was like, oh, both that my biological father was an asshole, but also that, like, maybe the reason Jeff was treating me that way was because of how I had treated him, my perspective was like, okay, let me try and fix this situation by, you know, treating him better and trying, you know, calling him dad or something like that, and, like, trying other stuff. And by then it was basically too late. Like, he's never, like, I don't think he thinks about that now, but I suspect he thought about it then, and as a result of thinking about it then, has just kept having a new reason to be that mindset, a new reason to not trust me or to think I'm lying. Like, I don't know what he thinks being trans is, but I suspect he thinks it's about getting attention, and that I have to be special, and that I have to, like, have people feel sorry for me or something, because he has always thought of me as like an attention seeker who just wants to like have people feel sorry for her or whatever. Molly says, I don't normally even call him my stepdad most of the time. I just call him my mom's husband. Oh, that sounds like what I was doing. Because he's always treated me like shit. Yeah. I mean, Jeff has stopped treating me like shit exactly. I mean, until recently with the transphobe thing. But he's one of those people in my life I could never 100% trust. Like, going back to the reverse of the trust issue. Because he's treated me really badly my whole life, and he thinks he's entitled to more of a not just more of a say in my life, but like more of a better feeling from me. Like, he thinks that my mom is basically mooching off of him, and since my mom pays me by transitive property, I am mooching off of him.
Right.
Even though my mom usually has a job, she's a teacher, so she doesn't get paid a lot. She doesn't get paid during the summer, and since she has for many years up until about a year ago, consistently been paying me, a decent amount of funds each month to do work for her as like small business type stuff, until fairly recently, Jeff has always taken that to mean he's paying for me. And I'm like, no, first of all, you don't care about me. Secondly, like, you don't love me. Thirdly, you don't, like, you think that you're one of the parents that thinks that the children owes you stuff. And hate to break it to all the parents out there, but your kids don't actually owe you. They don't. You got to do parenting type stuff because you got to do parenting type stuff. Once they're like old enough to take care of themselves, then you can lean back on that and be like, you should definitely be taking care of yourself. I've taught you better than this. But putting that aside, they don't owe you because you raised them. You were supposed to do that. And as far as the money stuff is concerned, at no point has Jeff ever leaned in and said, I will give you this amount of money for doing this amount of work because I want you to have some sort of income, do this thing. No, it's always been Mom. I've always thought Mom has been overpaying me. But at the same time, I'm very appreciative of it. But I've never thought for a moment that money was coming from Jeff. And even if it came from Jeff and went to Mom, it's still Mom paying me. You can't just say that the money that you are utilizing one way to one person means that you've helped somebody else. If somebody says, hey, can I borrow $200, I can pay you back next month, and they use that $200 to help their friend you don't like be able to make their rent because they know them better than you do and they have a better appreciation for them, and your one friend still pays you back the $200 even though it helped out the person you didn't like, you weren't forced to help somebody you didn't like. You helped your friend, and your friend helped someone else. These are not connected, in my opinion. What do you think, Daniel?
I mean, if you know that where the money's going and you don't choose to do something about it, then yeah, at that point it's on you. So, yeah, I hear you. Like, if he's so sure that he thinks that that's the way the situation is, and hasn't done anything to, I guess, confront your mom about this, let alone you, then he's clearly not in a position to be so strongly opinionated about how he feels about your lifestyle.
Right. Molly says, even if he does pay her, once it's hers, it's not his anymore. Right. Exactly. Which, to be fair, my understanding has always been what he's talking about is giving Mom money to make sure that she's able to get the house groceries. And until last year, I didn't live here. So he's literally just talking about passing money off to her for her to have groceries. Like, he didn't think she was taking a giant amount of her paycheck to support me. I always felt super fucking weird about taking Mom's money to basically... I didn't feel I was doing $400 of work every month, but
That's what she valued it at. It doesn't need to feel like $400, but if it generates $400 of value to her, or she's just trying to help you out because you're her fucking child.
yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah, I mean that's just what parents do.
Yeah, I mean that's one of those things I've had to learn and accept, but that doesn't get him to come back and be like, that money I passed to her ended up with you, so you owe me. No,
Yeah, no,
there's
that's
no
not how it
version
works.
that ever is a thing.
None whatsoever.
It's like I don't know, like I've had two friends in the past who were very bad about paying me back for money I'd lent them. One, which was Blooder. The other was Draco. And I had to have a conversation with, like, Draco got it, Blooder didn't, I guess is how I'll say it. Draco eventually understood, like, if I say, I'm going to lend you this money and you need to pay me back in a timely fashion, like, that means relatively soon. You don't have to pay me back in a giant chunk, but make some progress on it. Like, have some time where you're like, you have a little bit of money out of your paycheck, you can pay me back $5, $20. Like, this is back in, like, high school. Like,
Right.
whatever you can afford at the time. Low dollar amounts, no big deal. Meanwhile, and eventually Draco figured it out. He was like, "Oh, I won't be able to go to this movie because I wanted to pay you back." I was like, "Draco, seriously, we're just trying to get you in the mindset of paying people back. So here's what you do: you pay me back the money, right? And then what do? Then you borrow the money to go to the movie. I know it sounds silly, but just finish paying me back." And he was like, "Oh, I can do that." I was like, "Yeah." And then you know what? You can just have the money and pay me back next time. And then we can all go to the movie together and you paid me back. He's like, "All right. Yeah, sure, I can do that." And it was no big deal. Meanwhile, Blooder would get upset that he'd borrow like $160 from me because he didn't have the money around to pay for damages he did to his car, because he was always bad about saving money, even though he always had some way of making income. And then I come downstairs and I discover that he's bought the newest Assassin's Creed. And I'm like, "Dude, seriously, that's like $60. Well, it's a brand new game. It's out." I'm like, yeah, but you don't have a FOMO situation, Blooder. The only other person in your life who cares about Assassin's Creed is me. And if I don't have an access to the game, there's no way I could potentially play it and possibly spoil something for you. You were in no hurry to get to Assassin's Creed. That's $60 you could have passed off to me. And then, like, the next week, it was that time of year, he'd have a different game that he bought brand new. And I'm like, "Blooder, you've bought like 7 new games instead of paying me back any amount of money." "Well, I don't have all that amount of money." And I'd have to have that conversation. "Well, just pay me back a little bit. Come on, man. If you pay me back a little bit, a little over time, you'll eventually pay me back." Roar. You have anybody who's bad about paying you back, Daniel? Oh, I don't know if you got a phone call or something. Daniel, did I lose you? Or if you're talking, I can't hear you. And therefore, I don't think anyone can hear you. Well, guys, I don't know where Daniel is right now. I have 3.5 hours in game left to deliver something that needs to be there in 10 hours. So Molly says, "This is why I don't borrow money. I'm not bad at paying back, but I also don't want to risk it. Plus, I have ADHD and sometimes my brain doesn't remember I owe money until I've spent literally all of mine." Well, I mean, I also try not to borrow money, but like for example, right now I have a, let's just say it's a well, no, let's say I've got like $1,000,
Keep
but I
right,
keep having friends around
exit
me
right.
who are having trouble making ends meet. Oh, hello.
Exit right.
I can't tell if I'm gonna hit that car. Oh God. I was just talking about being on time.
Drive safe.
So my exit is closed, everybody. We're gonna try and go through Idaho Falls and come back. Like I have a decent amount of savings on me, so I have friends around me who are having trouble making ends meet. I'm like, guys, if you need to borrow some money, I have it. Like, do I really have it? Should I be loaning out money when I don't have enough to like live on my own, but I have enough to like
Keep right.
buy myself groceries every once in a while?
Right.
Like, in the grand scheme of selfishness, probably not, but like, they're my friends.
Exit right.
And if it's a difference between them like losing their home or something, I'd rather they have the money because I want them to keep being friends, especially friends who live locally. Like, I have some friends who might be in a position where they have to like move back to New England if they can't keep the some of the income they've got going on. I'd rather have them around locally, be friends nearby, even if it's going to take a while for them to pay me back, if I have the money to spare right now. I'd rather be doing that. Daniel is still listed as being in the Discord, so I assume he got a phone call that wasn't spam? His icon's still next to my portrait. Okay, we're gonna hope that this road isn't also closed off. Oh, my high beams have been on this whole time. Wow, you don't get a fine for driving down the highway with your high beams on? Oh, damn. All right, I wonder what happened, Molly. I don't know. People just drop and call on me tonight.
Get ready to turn left. Turn left.
Oh, this looks like a busy intersection. Let me out! Hopefully we'll get Daniel back in a few minutes. I cannot tell where the shift is because I'm so far away from my cab. Yeah, there's a cop that just drove past me. He has no problem with me driving around with my high beams on, so I guess I'm driving with my high beams on now.
Go straight on.
So like, I don't know, to the stepdad situation, I absolutely admit an amount of fault with how I reacted to him in the beginning that set the pace of the tone of our interactions. But again,
Go straight
I
on.
was like single digits when we met. And I didn't know that my biological father was an asshole. So, because I was a kid and I didn't know any better. but it still feels like it's always been something. I remember all the... Whoa, what the hell? Ghost car! Did you see Ghost car, Molly? Please tell me I wasn't the only person to see Ghost car. That's never happened before. I haven't seen that since, like, True Crime Streets of LA. That was freaky. That was freaky deaky. I was ordering lunch. So, a vehicle was traveling at me in the other lane. Because my high beams are on, it flashed its lights at me, and when it finished flashing its lights, it was gone. It was just no longer there. Like, the flash of the beams, like, trying to tell somebody on the road that there's a cop the other direction, which, by the way, you will get in trouble for if a cop sees you do that, but people do it. That kind of flash of lights to please turn off your high beams, after they were done doing it, the car was just not there anymore. I am now spedding. Oh no. And you were going the slow.
Go straight on.
You say go straight on, but like there's clearly a left-hand turn I need to make here.
Keep left and then turn left. Okay, let's finding a new route.
Alright, stop complaining at me.
Keep left and then turn left.
Is that a divided highway? No.
Turn
It's
left.
an asymmetrical intersection.
Keep right and then continue straight on.
Hold on. Did this get confused? Yes, it did. We are going to catch 'em.
Keep right and then continue straight on.
Hello.
Welcome back. What happened?
Keep right.
I got a call from my girlfriend's daddy. He's helping us with a problem at the house. That was the reason I went out earlier is to buy stuff at Home Depot to fix this problem. So.
Oh, do you mind saying what it is, or don't want to say it on stream?
I don't want to say it on stream.
Okay.
It's just house-related crap. He's probably gonna call me back in a minute.
All right, noted. Remember, if you want to let us know what happened, you can always, type something into Twitch chat or into the HunterMun Discord channel. Because we were like, where did Daniel go? Is everybody's losing connection? What's happening?
No, I put it in the dialogue tree chat, but I should have put it in your channel. You're right.
Yeah, even though you wouldn't have heard me respond, like I still could have read it.
Fair enough.
Uh-oh. Okay, I avoided that guardrail. That was kind of scary.
Alright. Well, you have fun with that. I gotta get going.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, what are you playing tomorrow again?
I will be playing Returnal. Would you like to try and play it with me? I hear it has co-op now.
It is co-op, but I have to go get it.
Oh, wait, you don't have the level
Go
of
straight
PlayStation
on.
Plus that has games on it?
No. Didn't seem worth it at the time.
I mean, I'm not convinced it's worth it, but I mean, it seems alright. To be fair, it seems kind of worth it if it's got games on it that you haven't played yet that you would play, as is always the case with these things. But for me, that's hey, Returnal and Death Stranding both on there. So, but I might be getting Death Stranding from you. So, on that note, I was like, well, then I will definitely try Returnal because it looked like a game I'd like to try.
Yeah,
but
I'm pretty sure the PS Plus version has the PS5.
As the what? Say again? You broke up, and you're gone now. Hello?
Keep right.
I think we lost him again, folks. You've discovered a new viewpoint. Well, I don't know if I need those viewpoints. I'd pull over and get it, but I wouldn't see anything. It's too dark out. And also, I'm having an urgent delivery. Alright, I assume Daniel got his phone call. Here, let's talk about that for a second. I had to fucking get out a schematic diagram to understand the new PlayStation Plus. So, here's what I got. First of all, there is not a service called PlayStation Plus anymore. PlayStation Plus is now 4 different tiers called PlayStation Plus Essential, PlayStation Plus Deluxe, PlayStation Plus Extra, and PlayStation Plus Premium. I might get some of what I'm about to say wrong, but I'm going to do my best. Here's my understanding. PlayStation Plus Extra has a number of PS1, 2, 3, and 4 games. No, wait.
Go straight on.
3 and 4 games? Maybe just 4 games on it that you can play. The PlayStation 3 games, I think, are all streaming. And actually, it might not be the PlayStation. Actually, it's not the PlayStation 3 games, I don't think.
Yes, I am back.
You're back.
Go straight on.
Yes. So what I was going to say is, I think the version of Death Stranding on PS Plus includes the PS5 upgrade. And if I were to give you my PS4 disc, you'd have to pay like $10 to upgrade it. So you might want to just play the PS5 version if you have access to it.
Well, no, I mean, I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
If getting your version, even if the upgrade is $10, that's a $10 game, which is not a terrible amount of price.
Well, for how long that game is and for the average quality that I've heard from people talk about it, that seems like it'd be pretty worth it for $10. Yeah.
Wait, did you not play it?
No, I haven't played it yet.
Oh.
I got it because somebody was selling it on like Facebook Marketplace for like $5. Okay, and I was like, okay, the PS5 for it's only like 10. So I was like, I'm like, I paid 15 for this. I'm like, okay, cool. And I was like, I'm kind of busy playing other games. Get to it, and then I was like, you know who'd probably want it along with Last of Us, because I just want to get rid of this fucking game because it pisses me off. 100 months. Check with her before I just trade him into GameStop, because I'm.
Wait, what is Last of Us 2, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about 2. Yeah.
Why does it piss you off?
It's like the worst game they put out in the past 15 years.
Oh. I don't know, Uncharted 4 was pretty bad.
I liked it.
I wanted to play the one after it, though, that focuses on the Middle Eastern girl. I didn't get to play that one.
Oh, yeah. That one is good, and the multiplayer for those two are connected, so they're probably still, like, somewhat accessible, but unfortunately the PS5 versions, I think they only did the story modes for those.
Reminds me, Ubisoft's shutting down all the servers for a whole bunch of games and making some of the games unplayable.
Yeah, super.
Yeah, well, more dystopian capitalism. What really sucks is all the people who are growing up now, the Zoomers. Like, they're gonna be living this life and think that, like, even as bad as we have always kind of had it, it has gotten worse in our lifetimes.
Get ready to turn right.
Oh wow, that's a very American light. I haven't seen one of those in the game before.
Turn right.
Okay, can I just cautiously take this yield stop? Thank you. That is a bus. So you have no interest in Death Stranding at all, or you're just letting me borrow it, or?
I'm letting you borrow it before I play it.
Oh, so it's like, okay. Well, a $10 rental is not terrible as long as I end up liking the game.
Well, yeah,
Go
$10
straight
plus
on.
whatever it costs for you to ship it, but sure.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, no, I have other things on my docket that I'm kind of in the middle of, so I was like, I may as well let you borrow it. Because it's the PS4 disc, so I mean, like, it's kind of bottomed out in terms of trade-in value, so I may as well let somebody else play it before I get around to it.
Does the PlayStation 5 version, does it auto-upgrade it to Director's Cut, or no?
I feel like the answer is those aren't the same thing, but let me double check.
That would be good to know, because then I would just end up playing the PS4 version if it wasn't Director's Cut. There'd be no... I mean, who cares? PlayStation 5 game versus a PlayStation 4
Go
game.
straight on.
Like, who cares? And I know the answer is some people, but like, meh. I'm playing a game that came out like 10 years ago or something.
It came out in 2019, relax.
No, American Truck Simulator. I'm currently playing a game that came out a while ago. And it looks really good, and it keeps getting updates, you know.
Okay, the answer to your question is the base PS5 version is called the Director's Cut. So yeah, it's only $10, and then you just need the disc.
Okay. So hopefully the version... then we have to worry about is the version on PlayStation Extra Director's Cut. And I don't know. I'll have to look it up.
I'm assuming it will be, but let me double check.
I've got it and Returnal both downloaded.
Go straight on.
Extra death.
Ketchum discovered. Gem State 7 of 11.
It's both. It's the PS4 version, like base game, and the PS5 version, which is the Director's Cut. So
And then turn
as long as you play the Director's Cut, you're good. Now remember that
Turn right.
if you do end up borrowing it on disc, that it's a separate license. So I'm saying if you
Wait.
start it during, if you start
Oh,
it during
yeah.
your PS Plus Extra subscription and you don't finish it, and then you're like, hey, can I borrow your disc now? You're gonna have to re-download the whole fucking game just to play it again.
Get ready to turn right.
Yeah, maybe I won't upgrade it. I don't know. I don't need to
Well,
upgrade
you
it.
also-
I'd rather play
well,
with more stuff, but I don't know if... Sometimes when Kojima adds more stuff, it like if you don't know it's there when you start, it kind of distracts the game.
Right, but also, if you can't, I'm assuming the saves aren't compatible either way. So you either have to commit to playing the PS4 version, or commit to playing the PS5 version. I don't think the saves would go between them.
Oh, come on, game. You're binding boxing me now. Okay, cool. No complicated park on this one, which is for the best.
Well, that's
Uh,
good. Good. All right.
It is an articulated trailer, so it is good that it's not a complicated park. Reticulating splines.
Will you take care of that?
Say what?
Well, you take care of that. I gotta get going.
Well, hang with me for just a second, and you can close out the episode. Because I just got to my destination. I'm gonna purchase a garage, and then that's gonna be... Hold on.
Okay.
Incoming spam call. Otherwise, we done. I want to purchase a garage. I assume we want to purchase a garage in Montana. And there we go. We can start putting people in there. For anybody who is watching sometime later on YouTube, we would like to thank you for watching. This has been American Truck Simulator, presented by Improvision Entertainment. I have been Hunterman.
And I've been Daniel, here only temporarily.
And we will see you in the future.
Peace.
Alright, Daniel, it's been good having you.
Likewise, happy to be here. If you're gonna fall asleep after stream, and then you wake up to another email regarding the